Yo, welcome back to another episode of 3 Minutes. I haven't done one of these in a while, and I was actually pretty humbled at the fact that people actually were asking me to do it again. And the majority of those people were not even my family members, so, that was pretty exciting. It's been almost about 2 months, I think, since we last spoke. Since then, I went to Vegas for about 11 days during the World Series of Poker. That did not go especially well. Then I was home for about a day before I got food poisoning, which was a nice little welcome back. Everything in my body just decided to Brexit all at once. I was like, remain, remain. My body was like, nah. So I think I might start doing these a little bit more, add a little like professional feel to it, Maybe like throw a theme song in. Theme, 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 theme. So I'm still working on that. I was going to do a video last week, but there was too much terrible shit going on, and out of respect for that, I just hid under my covers and wet the bed for a week. But I predict that we're going to go longer than 3 minutes today because we're going to talk about everyone's favorite Batman villain, Donald Trump. So in order to talk about Trump properly and to get into the right state of mind, I had to get myself a Vodka Pop, which is a trademarked idea, okay? Vodka Otter Pop. It's fantastic. Ooh. I think all the vodka goes to the top. So when Trump first emerged as a candidate, the whole narrative was about how he's this outsider. How he has no Washington ties. That was supposed to be his appeal. But come on, people who support Trump, just be honest with your reasoning. All right, it has nothing to do with being a Washington outsider. You're the same people that were saying Obama was a non-American Muslim without enough government experience. That's about as Washington outsider as it gets. We just had 8 years of the most outsider president that we've ever had, and for some reason there's this narrative of repetition that's just not true. So the fact that so many are in favor of basically the anti-Obama this time around is obviously rooted in something deeper than electing someone who can shake things up. But what Trump supporters really want is for the people who have held power in this country for a really long time to continue holding power. And while that may seem misguided to me, that's a very old concept. At many points throughout the history of human civilization, we have examples of people trying to hold on to a way of life that's been very good to them, but usually very oppressive to other people. It's usually worked for a while, but not in the long run. Wagering against progress hasn't usually been a successful tactic. So this isn't actually a revolution of any sort. Trump and Trump supporters are the status quo. They're like the people who freak out when Instagram or Twitter or Facebook changes the way its feed is formatted. But 3 days after it's changed, they can't even remember what it used to look like. And they're like, oh yeah, this is totally fine. Except Trump is there with a megaphone and he won't let them get to that totally fine point. Because he's all like, no, the way that they're aggregating your photos is out of order. Just like how we deal with China. And people are like, yeah, I need some more. So Trump is the same sort of snake oil salesman that has existed for hundreds of years, right? He's a swindler, and that's not to say he's the only one, but this whole notion of him being the one who tells it like it is so ridiculous because he's probably one of the least self-aware individuals to ever get this far politically. He doesn't tell it like it is because if he did, he would open every speech by saying, there's absolutely no reason for you to trust me or my opinion. That being said, I'm gonna talk for a while in short, repetitive phrases that I know will get you cheering no matter what I say. That would be telling it like it is. Half the time, he doesn't even believe his own bullshit. He tweets about global warming being a hoax, and then he goes to Ireland and applies for a seawall to be built around his golf course because of the, quote, rising sea levels due to global warming. He is the extreme of what so many of us experience constantly. He's a combination of conflicting insecurity and narcissism, but to a level none of us could ever imagine. We all have Trump tendencies, but usually we're able to call ourselves on our own bullshit and not allow it. Last night was the first night of the convention, and I couldn't bring myself to watch any of it. I did take some time to make a Rudy Giuliani meme or two, but as far as Melania's speech, look, I have nothing against this woman. I'm sure she never in her life thought that she would be giving a speech in front of thousands of individuals and millions of people watching on TV to kick off a presidential election cycle. For all I know, she's a perfectly nice person with terrible taste in men, which could be said for any number of women in Midtown Manhattan. But it just points to how crazy disorganized this entire campaign is. I mean, look at dude's desk. What the fuck is the Oval Office going to look like? Anyway, for anyone who's a Trump supporter, that's your prerogative. I still got love for you. But, if rich 70-year-old white dudes aren't fair game for a proper takedown right now, then shame on us. So, after all that Trump talk, a little digestif to cleanse the palate.
Bit. We can head to the crib in a little bit. I can show you how I live in a little bit. I want to unbutton your pants just a little bit. Take them off and pull them down.
Feel free to like, comment, subscribe, whatever I'm supposed to ask you to do in order to inflate my ego. You can do any of those things if you feel like it. Seriously, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.
Take over the world when I'm on my own Trump shit. Look at all this money. Ain't that some shit? Take over